Hello, I'm Justin Tranz, and welcome to Conversations with Me. It's all about my system supreme. So, come on in here, David Lee. David Lee is a friend and a student, and we're going to be showing you some things that I do and I teach with hypnosis with my system supreme. So here we go. So, what are you going to talk about today, David?
I want to talk about how you initially get a person to go into the state of hypnosis.
Okay. So when I'm walking up to someone, okay, the first thing I do, once I've gotten all through the hello, blah, 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 when I start to really work with that person, I tell them, put your feet together, make them touch. Now, why do I do that? Because I want them to listen and to follow my instructions. So my first instruction is simply this. Put your feet together, make them touch. And then I tell them, don't move your feet. So I just want to see if they follow that instruction. You did. Your feet are together. You're standing there looking at me. Okay? Then I would actually walk up to them and I'd say, I'm going to sway you off balance just a little bit. I've got you. And I just take them off a little bit. And I just basically want to see that they're not resisting as I push them off balance this way or forward. I want to make sure that they're not resisting me in any way. So I just go up here. You know what? I'm going to rock you off balance just a little bit. I've got you. You don't want to tell them, hey, I'm going to rock you off balance. Don't resist me. You don't want to say that because now you're putting the thought in their mind, resistance to fight you. I don't want that. I'm just saying, look, put your feet together, make them touch. I'm going to rock you off balance, back and forth, just a little bit. I've got you. That's telling them, I've got you, you're safe. So then I go like this, and I stand close to them like this, and I just want to feel that I've got them. Perfect. I had you. There wasn't any resistance. Let's say that I pushed them back some, okay? And let's say that they kind of give me a little bit of resistance. Give me some like resistance. See? Now then, he isn't going back like I want him to go back. He's actually bending at his hips right here though. I would say, no. I'm going to take you, your whole body, make your whole body like one solid piece. Do not bend at the waist. And just let me push you back. And I've got you. That's it. You've got you. That's it. Now then, he did it right that time. But sometimes I'll say, if they're resisting me, or I just feel that their shoulders are, like fighting me, what I'll say to them is, do you notice how that you're resisting me? Or I'll say, do you know how you're fighting this? But generally I say, notice how you're resisting me, or I'll say,
Let me be resistant.
Okay, then I'll do the resistant. Here we go. And I go like this, I say, notice how you're resisting?
Yes.
Yes. And I say, stop it. That's all I simply say, is stop it. He acknowledges that he notices that he's resisting me, because he knows it, I know it. That's why I say, notice how you're resisting me. He'll say, yes. Yes. And then I'll say, simply, stop it. When I say stop it, they understand. Oh, don't do that. Go with him. Now then I go back to him and I go like this, and I don't feel it now. I don't feel any resistance whatsoever. Then I say, feel that difference? And he goes, yes. Of course he does. Now you're there. In what I teach, you can't keep moving to the next step, to the next step, to the next step, until they comply with each and every single step. I'm not saying that it won't work. I'm saying you're going to get the best results possible if you get compliance, them understanding what you're talking about with every step of the way. So first thing was, stand there, put your feet together, make them touch. You want to see their heels and their toes, or their feet together touching. That's all you want to see. Then, you want to rock them back and forth to see if they're letting you move them back and forth. When you begin to move them back and forth, You want to just move them very slightly so they don't have any resistance at all. Just move them back slightly off balance. Then, as you move them slightly off balance like this, just slightly, okay? Then, if you got that, take them back further. Take them back further. And what I'm doing is, because if they are a larger person or that you are a smaller person, and let's say that they're bigger than you or you're not that strong, you've got to move your body with them to go back, and you've got to bring your body in front so that you won't drop them. You don't want to ever be in the position where you're pushing them off balance like this, standing in front of them, because their weight might start going back, 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 and all you've got to hold on to them are your hands here. No, you need to be back here with them to actually catch them. Okay? So bottom line is, stay there. Now then, once that I understand that they rock back and forth, once I got that down, and I'm going to turn you, no, I'll leave you like that for the camera. No, turn like this for the camera slightly. Good. Now then, I've got him, he's done the rocking back and forth. I'm happy with that. Now then, I'm going to stand in front of him, okay? And I'm going to just simply look at him. I'm just going to simply look at him in his eye. You always want to look in their eyes the whole time. You don't want to look up and start thinking and come back to them and talk or think or sigh. You want to keep your gaze, your eyes, right in their eyes at all times. Why? When you look at them in their eyes, it's very powerful when someone looks in your eyes. It disarms them. It makes them off balance. It makes them almost uncomfortable. It also makes them feel that you know what you're doing, that you're serious. You're not looking around or away and talking to them. You're not talking to the ground. You're talking to them. They've got your full, undivided attention. And what I'm saying is, I need your full, undivided attention looking at me. They can turn, but if they look away, tell them, no, look at me, right here, right here, right here. Always make them look at you, because sometimes you'll find that people will look away from you when you look at them the whole time. When they do that, direct their attention back to you. No, don't take your eyes off mine. Look at me. You want to make that important to them. So I'm back to you now, and I say to them, once I'm ready to go to the next step, I just stand there with my feet apart, come to me, more than shoulders width. I drop my knees down some, though, so I'm comfortable, okay? And then I just look at him, or the person that I'm working with, in their eyes, and I just look at him. Don't stop it now. Feel it. Feel it more. Yeah. Do you feel yourself moving? Yes or no?
Yes.
Say it louder.
I feel myself moving.
Say it louder.
I feel myself moving.
Good. I've got you. Feel it again. No, don't stop it. Feel it. Let it go. No, more. I got you. I got you. Feel it. Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Now, stand on your own though balance now. All right. Now, what's happening is, I really didn't say too much. All I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for the person I am working with to give me some kind of movement. Like some kind of movement. I want to see them standing there and moving this way, or to the right, or their right a little bit, or maybe they're going back some. You just want to see a slight movement in them. When you see that slight movement in them moving left or right or back, and it's very subtle. It's like, it might be just a little bit of this or a little bit of that, a little bit back or a little bit forward, but you'll see them moving slightly. Now, why do you have their feet together? Because if their feet are together, they have to balance themselves more to stay in one position. There's going to be more movement in their body with their feet together. If their feet were separated shoulders width, they won't move as much. But if their feet are together, heels and toes together, standing there, now then they're more off balance to sway and move. It gives them more of a chance to feel some kind of a sway. You want them to sway. You don't want to say much. I don't like these guys that, well, I'll get into that part where they just start talking rapid fire. You're moving. You feel that? Moving. Back, back, back. You're going back. Feel yourself going back. Da, 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 da. Or your hand is on the table. It's stuck. It's stuck. It won't move. You can't move it. It won't move. It won't move. Da, 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 da. I hate that. I want you to learn how to speak less, use less words, and be more powerful with your being, with your presence. I want you to come across with more intent, that you know it's going to happen instead of hoping that it's going to work. You know it's going to work. You know they're going to move. You know something's going to happen. You know you can hypnotize them. You know you can work. You want to give them the intent that it's going to happen, the feeling, the intent. I'm giving off energy to them, intent that it's going to happen. They feel my intent. They feel my power. I believe in that. I don't believe that all hypnosis is self-hypnosis. I believe that I'm the hypnotist. I'm the powerful one. I'm going to hypnotize you right here, right now. It will work. It will not fail. That's what I already see when I work with people. So, back to the point here. So bottom line is, did you feel yourself moving?
Yes.
Yes. What did it feel like for you? Talk loud so that the camera gets it. What did it feel like? I'm just standing there looking at you.
Well, it feels like when you move your hand, you create an imbalance on the other side because we're mirroring each other.
Okay.
So when you create an imbalance, my body seems to move towards wherever that imbalance is. So you take your arm and you go, and all of a sudden, because there's an imbalance in you, my body moves in that direction.
There you go.
And so I then start to feel the movement, and then you see the movement, and then you increase it.
I increase it by talking, by saying a few things.
Right. And you're validating that movement, and you're increasing the movement, and then because there's a rapport,
Okay.
because there's a rapport of the way we're standing, and then you become unbalanced.
Mm-hmm.
I try to go towards creating a balance with your imbalance, and then all of a sudden I'm moving, and then you're telling me I'm moving, and I know I'm moving, and then I wind up moving.
I've never heard it put that way, and what he just said makes perfect sense to me. What he just said, and in fact, I'm going to teach it that way, and I've never taught it that way, but that was brilliant. Let me give you a point about that. I've been doing hypnosis since I was 7, and I'm 55 now. Been doing it forever. The point I'm making is I'm always learning. I don't think that I know it all. I'm always learning. But here's the thing. An important lesson that he just said that I'm going to teach to you is I always ask the people I am working with what they felt, what they're feeling, what their experience was. They're going to tell you what they felt for them, their feeling and experience of what you were doing to them. Then, if you do this all the time, and I've done it with, believe me, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people over my career, because I always ask people after my show, when did I work with them, how they felt, what happened to them, what did they experience. Because I do that, I've got so much feedback. I pretty much know what everyone's feeling and thinking because I've heard pretty much every answer there is. Now then, armed with that, when I look at someone and I talk to them, I really do know sort of what they're feeling. Not exactly, but a feeling, a sense of like what they're going through. And I'm feeling that inside of me, and I'm projecting all those things that I've heard people say for years and years and years onto them. And now then, they think that I'm inside their head and I know what they're feeling and what they're really thinking. That's the sense I give people. It's this eerie feeling of, I know what's going on in them. Even though technically I really don't, but I have some idea. So now, once I see him moving, now, your person now is moving without you really telling them to move. I don't know if he's going to move left or right, forwards or back. I'm just looking for some kind of a movement. Always use what they give to you. Use what they give to you. Okay? Whatever they tell you, that's correct. Act like you know it, understood it, like you made it happen. Whatever happens with him, I made it happen. That's the way I play it to them. So I see him moving to my right, to his left. Now then, when I see him doing that, I'm going to draw him more so that he does it more. And then I'm telling him, because you'll notice that they'll try to stop that motion. Why? Because they're like, whoa, I'm going to stop it. But they're stopping it because if they keep on going, they will lose their balance and fall. I let them know, no, it's okay. Don't stop it, let it go. And I'm saying, I got you. I got you. I'm not going to let you fall now at this point. I will stop you from falling. I will catch you. I will like stop you from really falling off balance, okay? But all in all, I still don't want them to move their feet. I always want them to leave their feet there. And if they move their feet, it's a bad sign. You don't really have them totally where you want them to be if they ever move their feet. Forward, backwards, side, front. You never want them to move their feet. You always want their feet glued, planted. You want them only swinging at their ankles, pivoting on their ankles, but never moving their feet. So when that happens, start all over again. You don't want to move it. Always remind them, don't move your feet. So let's move on. So now I've got him moving. Okay? Now then I know that I've got him. This guy is listening and he's feeling. So in my mind, since I got him to move, he's thinking, oh my God, this guy has a power over me. He's like making me move. I'm feeling this. Oh my God. Something's happening to him. You see, you all know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, all these suggestibility tests, like the magnetic fingers, nothing wrong, or the light in the heavy arms. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things. I don't use them very much because there's something better. System Supreme, what I am teaching you now, what I really do. So I don't use all those old suggestibility tests or the magnetic hands where you've got magnets on both hands and they're closing and moving in. I don't do that. I do nothing like that. Everything I teach you, you're not going to actually see in a book or like written about unless they took my course or they know me or they've watched me very closely. So now let's go back to, I swayed him, I got him to put his feet together. I swayed him back and forth. I made sure there was no resistance in him, that I was able to move him like I want to move him, and there's no holding back, resistance. Perfect. Now that I got him to sway left, right, forward, back, I got him to do that without many, many words. This person is going with you. This person is prime. So now let's go to the next step, the eye closure. I do this thing with eye closure. I get everybody's eyes stuck. Let me show you how that happens. So I want to turn him a little bit this way so you can actually see his eyes. But I would walk up to him and I would basically say to him, but I'm going to be like saying it to you now, and to him, I would be facing him like this, talking to him, but I'm going to do this for the camera. So I would walk up to him, once I've done all the movements, everything else, I'd say, now, close your eyes. His eyes are closed. And I would say, you realize that if you really wanted to, you could open your eyes if you really wanted to. Is that correct? Yes. Yes, he said yes. Now, I'm looking for him to simply just say yes or to nod his head. I don't want to say, I don't want to say, close your eyes, and then say, you realize that if you really wanted to, you could open your eyes. I don't want him to open his eyes and say yes. I just want him to simply go, yes. If he opens his eyes, close them down, and keep on moving. But I'm really looking for him to just go, yes, acknowledging that he could open his eyes if he wanted to. And there is the language. You could open your eyes if you wanted to. What I'm saying to him is, you could. I don't want you to. I don't even want you to try to. But if you really wanted to, you could. And I want him to simply just say, eyes closed, nod his head, and say, yes, I could. You know, basically if I wanted to. Fine. Let's move forward. So once I do that, I'm going to start again. Close your eyes. You realize, David, that if you really wanted to, you could open your eyes if you really wanted to, couldn't you?
Yes.
Excellent. Then I go, and I'm looking at his eyes intently when I say this. I go, I'm thinking about you. Try. Try to open your eyes. Try. You see, the harder you try, the more impossible it becomes. As you try, you notice they stick down. Feel them sticking down even tighter as you try. They will not work. They will not work. Try. That's good. Now stop trying, forget about your eyes. Just stop trying, forget about your eyes. Now let me explain what I just did. You noticed I said to him at first, I said, you realize that if you really wanted to, you could open your eyes. He said, like, yes, I could. Then I said, I paused for a while. And after that pause, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever you want to do, the longer the better. Then I said, I'm thinking about you. Pause again. 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Feel it, the longer the better. What's he thinking? I don't know really. But I know that he's thinking about his eyes somewhat. Something about his eyes. And I just want them to be closed. So I'm pausing and I say, I'm thinking about you. And what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that I want your eyes to stick and glue. And I'm also projecting, sending energy to him that his eyes are kind of sticking and sealing. And I'm pausing all along while I'm thinking all those thoughts. And then I finally start saying, try. I'm trying to say the word try, but I'm going, try. Try. What? Try to open your eyes. Try. Now, my whole point in that is I'm trying to make it seem like it's going to be very difficult for him to do. I'm trying to make it seem like it's difficult for him to open his eyes. So I'm making it like it's a real hard thing to do. Like, you know, try, and I'm dragging my words out. Try to open your, try to open your eyes. As I'm doing it, I'm saying it slow, so he tries very slowly. And as he tries very slowly, and I see him, then I start to pick it up a little bit and say, that's right, see, they won't work. They won't open as you try. In fact, the harder you try, the more impossible it becomes. You try, feel them sticking down even more. They're gluing shut. Those are the things I'm trying to get across to him. Okay? Now this time, David, leave your eyes closed, and I'm going to say it, but this time I want you to open your eyes up. Okay? I'm going to say, your eyes are closed. David, I'm thinking about you. try to open your eyes. Try. Wow, no problem, was it? That was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Watch what happens. David, watch what happens this time. Then I go into this. Because I don't want him to think that he did something wrong or that I messed up. And no, you don't think that. As soon as his eyes open, you say, wonderful, no problem, right? Then you say, but this time, and you look at his eyes and you go, but this time, I'm going to have you to close your eyes like this. Just watch me. I'm going to have you to close your eyes just like this. Watch, just like this. Don't close them, just look at me. But this time when you try, I'll have you to close your eyelids down. And I'll count backwards from 5 down to 1. As I reach the count of 1, your eyelids will lock tightly closed. And the harder you try to open your eyes on the count of 1, the more impossible it becomes for you. In fact, the only way your eyes will open is when I come to you myself and I touch you on your forehead like this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch. Pow. Then your eyes will pop. Then they'll pop. Then your eyes will pop open. Want that to happen, expect it to happen, watch it happen. Nod your head if you understand. That's good. So that's the speech I give them when the eyes open up. That's my speech. Then, after I say that speech, I then look at him again and I say, close your eyes. And I say, I want you to get a picture in your mind. One picture. A picture, a painting, a photograph, a snapshot, an image, a color, a word, an animal, a number, a house. I want you to lock your mind around one image. If you have an image in your mind right now, I want you to nod your head up and down. Up and down. If you have an image, nod your head up and down. Nod now. No, nod. Really nod. Nod more. If you have a picture, no, nod. Come on. Up, down. Keep nodding. More. Stop nodding. Stop nodding. Hold that picture in your mind as I count backwards from 5 down to 1. Again, as I reach the count of 1, your eyelids will lock tightly closed. And the harder you try to open your eyes on the count of 1, the more impossible it becomes for you. Like I said, the only way your eyes open is when I touch you on your forehead or I tell you to open them. Nod your head if you understand. See the picture very clearly in your mind. Lock your mind around the picture. Here we go. 5. Eyelids pressing down and sealing shut. Feel it. Press your eyelids down tight. Squeeze them. No, squeeze them. Press them tighter. No, press them real tight. Tighter and tighter and tight. No, press them. Press them. Squeeze them. Press them tight. 5, they're pressing down and sealing shut. 4, they're sealing as if they were glued. 3, they're locking, sticking, gluing shut. 2, the more you try to open them, the tighter they lock closed. 1, try to open your eyes and find them locking tighter and tighter and tighter. No, try. They're locked. Keep trying. Harder. Try. Harder. They won't open. In fact, the only way they open is when I touch your forehead. Now, I touch them on the shoulder and I go, David, what do your eyes feel like? Talk loud. What do they feel like?
I feel like they're locked in place.
Talk even louder. Feel like what?
They feel like they're locked in place.
They feel like they're locked in place. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
Did you think this would work for you?
Yes.
Yes. Now, most people say no. Most people say no. And I say, kind of though crazy, isn't it? And they're going, yeah, man, that's crazy. And then I might mess them. David, they're locked. Try to open them. They're locked. They won't. Keep trying. Try harder. They won't work. They won't work. That's right. And they're not going to work. They're not going to work. They're not, and this should work 95, 99% of the time on everybody, anywhere, groups, or even one-on-one. Their eyes will stay stuck until I touch them on the forehead, or my favorite thing, usually I touch them on the forehead like that, right? And their eyes pop open. But I love to say this. Just say the words "I'm satisfied" out loud, real loud, and they'll open up.
I'm satisfied.
I love doing that because it is a very powerful moment. So, let's go back to David and find out what David's thinking. So, through the process, eye sticking, let's talk about the first time. When your eye stuck, let's say for real, the first time, with me just simply saying to you, close your eyes, you realized that if you really wanted to open your eyes, you could. You said like, yes, I could. Then I went like, I paused and I finally went, I'm thinking about you. I paused and I started going, you know, try to open your eyes. What did that feel like to you when you tried? What was that sense like?
It felt like it was...
Speak louder.
It felt like it was stuck, and it felt like it was almost going to be impossible to open.
Okay. So, okay. Any other experience with that? Just feeling, thoughts like, wow, this is working? I don't know. I mean, because everybody's different, sort of, but not really. So.
I felt, even though I can open my eyes, there's still part of me that thought, maybe if I did something different, or I broke out of the scene, or I didn't follow directions, I could open them.
Okay, fine. But they didn't open.
They didn't open.
And you tried.
I tried.
Yes. People's thoughts are going like, well, wait a minute, I really can, and if I do something different, maybe I can. They're going through all kinds of thoughts. Because first of all, they're shocked, like, oh my God, this is working, because you watching this right now, close your eyes. Okay? Now, open your eyes. You see? When you close your eyes, you should be able to just open them really quickly. Why can't you do it? So they're thinking in their mind, well, I should be able to, but wait a minute, they are kind of sticking. And the more they feel them sticking, the more they're going to stick tighter. And they go, wow, I really can. So they're going, well, maybe if I change my thinking, my thoughts, or something, I could do it. But for some reason, they still don't open their eyes anyway. That's a very powerful feeling to them, because if you're hypnotizing them for the first time, let's say, they're going, they have to be thinking in their mind, oh, this is really working. Even your hardest skeptic is going, wait a minute, I didn't think this was going to work for me, but it is working. So now they're thinking, gee, I must be able to be hypnotized, because this guy's doing this to me already. In fact, they think they are hypnotized. So that's the first way. That way works for me. That first way I showed you works for me. I'd say, I don't know, my numbers will fluctuate. You know, let's say that works for me 70% of the time. 70, 75% of the time, I get that to work, boom, stick. But then, you know, the other 20%, 25% open their eyes up on me. That's the part two, where I have them to like close their eyes and like I count backwards from 5 down to 1, and they picture the picture in their mind and blah, 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 blah. That's part two when the first one doesn't work. But you are never really trying to tell them that their eyes aren't going to open, even though you are, because if it does open, you've got this backup plan that will work 99.9. The second backup way works. In fact, let me ask David about that, because David's used, I know he uses the second method. I don't know if you use the first method or not.
I use the first method.
So what's your percentage maybe, or what is your feeling on that method for you and your experience?
I normally use the first method on somebody I've already hypnotized in the past.
Okay.
And I rarely use it on somebody who has, that I haven't hypnotized. I've used it a couple of times when I thought the person was, you know, went unusually deep quickly. I've done that just to see, just for the fun.
Fun, yeah. Now, I always use it up front, because if it works, it's a home run ball out the park, man. It makes you powerful. It makes you like, dun, dun, dun. So I always use it up front, because if it doesn't work, I got my tried and true second method that's going to work 99.99, 100% of the time it's going to work. That's for me. Now let's go to David's experience when he uses the second method first, or whatever. Tell me your experience.
I would say that I probably don't hit 99%, but I probably hit 95%.
95%, wow.
Of the time. You know, it gives me a good indication. If somebody doesn't, if I do the 5-to-1 method and
Right.
it doesn't work,
Mhm.
and I know that this is somebody,
Okay.
at least for me, I'm
Okay.
going to have to spend some real energy with
Okay.
to find it. Normally, these are extraordinarily, they're either left-brain people
Okay.
who are, they're IT type people,
Okay.
IT type mind people, or they're extremely nervous, or they will not listen.
Okay. It's interesting you say that. Or they will not listen. I said earlier, if you can't get them to do these simple things, like stand with your feet together, sway them back and forth, cannot actually get them to move by just staring at them. If you can't do those type of things with them, then it's kind of hard to keep on moving. You do have to start working and pulling out other things. But if you can get their attention, grab it, pull it in, and get these first steps to work, you shouldn't have too much of a problem with most people you're going to work with.
No, I would say I'm working with lots of people who are extraordinarily skeptical
Yeah.
when they come in.
Skeptical people, yeah.
And, I do a lot of stop smoking, and it's, reasonably expensive for most people who come in. And there's a lot of time that they feel, is this going to work? And the great thing is when their eyes lock, and it happens within the first couple of minutes of doing hypnosis, those people, you got them. Once those eyes lock, they're sitting there going, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore. It's a whole new thing, and you can just see their whole being go, okay, there's something different happening here.
Right.
I wasn't expecting it. I just had a couple come in for stop smoking, and the wife said, I kept waiting for my eyes to pop open. I kept waiting for it, but they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So, I had to go with what was going on.
Right. Let me add this to this. I'm known for, as you all know, or you may not know, but most people do, I'm known for stage hypnosis, doing a hypnosis show on stage. What a lot of people don't know is I didn't start on stage. I started doing hypnotherapy. That's what I started doing. Stage came years though later after I had been doing hypnotherapy for 10 to 15 years. I was doing that even more. But my real fame and what I'm noted for is doing the stage show, which I love. But David isn't a stage hypnotist. David is a hypnotherapist, a therapist that does hypnosis. The point that I'm making right now is to really know hypnosis for hypnotherapy, whatever you want to do with hypnosis, in my opinion, you've got to know stage. The secrets of a good stage hypnotist, you can take my methods, System Supreme, Transformer, whatever I'm calling it, you take that and you can utilize and apply everything that I'm talking about to the hypnotherapy session with your clients. You are going to be able to hypnotize them faster and deeper. That's what I believe. And I teach hypnotherapists, psychologists, doctors, dentists. I teach them my fast methods that I developed on stage in Vegas years ago, and I apply all that stuff when I'm teaching people that do hypnotherapy. So, I'm going to ask David, because David has been studying with me. How long have you been studying with me? Now?
About a year?
About a year or so. So bottom line is David's seen me now, what, about the third or fourth time that you've seen me?
Right.
About third or fourth time. And so bottom line is David uses some of my techniques, his practice. What I'm saying is you don't have to do script gnosis. Memorize a script. You should be learning these methods, and it gives you freedom to do things, and you're really hypnotizing people from what I think power. You're not reading a script and you're hoping that they go in. So I'm going to ask David what his experience is using what he used before he met me, let's say, and using my methods. Again, I don't know what he's going to say because all of my students, all of them, and they'll tell you this, I'm not telling them what to say. They say what they want to say, okay? I'm not trying to like tell them to say, oh, like make me look good. Say what they want to say. I don't know, like we haven't rehearsed this stuff. Here we go. So what is your experience with what you were doing before you met me, what you're doing now that you met me, and you might even talk about when I went to Denver, where he practices, he had me come in to some of his hypnotherapy sessions, and I work with his clients. So talk about all that stuff in your words. I don't know what you're going to say.
Well, I've been practicing hypnotherapy.
You talk to the camera. I'm going to go, like, step off.
Okay. I've been practicing hypnotherapy for a number of years in Denver. And I got to the point where I realized that there was only a percentage of people that I was actually helping to go into a state of hypnosis. I have an NLP background, and and those people who I could not hypnotize, I was using NLP, and I was able to help a certain portion of those people. And the people I hypnotized, obviously I could do it through hypnosis. But there was a part of me that was not willing to go on. And actually, I took a course from another person who I felt gave me a little bit of a leap. And I came back and I was confident for about a month or two. And after a month or two, I decided, yes, I've improved, but it wasn't good enough for me to continue in my field. And so I was looking at Justin on YouTube, and I saw what he was able to accomplish, and I looked at a whole bunch of different other people. And from what, my experience was, I said, I got to go meet this guy. I've got to see if I can learn to be able to hypnotize on a more instant basis. And I went to see Justin. When I came back, it was like, yes, I want to be a hypnotist. This is really fun. I can, the percentages of people that I'm able to hypnotize has really improved. And I also was a little bit lucky that, just learning some of his techniques and using it, maybe my first 5 people, at least 2 of them were, instantaneously went deep, really deep. And some people made such incredible changes that it's hard to accept. One of the persons was somebody who had chewed tobacco for 24 years. And he put the chew in his mouth in the morning, added to it, never took it out till late at night. Then, to go to sleep, he took 3 Nicorettes. Well, I used Justin's technique for putting him into a state. That was it. I did that. I did my regular NLP. I did some other things that I do. And the guy walked out. Never chewed again. To him, it's an absolute miracle. And he had been sent to me by his dentist, who has now sent me other people also. So that was the beginning. And as time goes on, I realized that Justin has locked down the method of elegantly allowing somebody to go into hypnosis. And so I'm going to continue to practice these things. Every time I come, I find that I pick up a few more things. And as I pick these up and utilize them in my practice, it just becomes that much more effective than it was before. And so I find it really exciting. I do want to add one thing about what we just did, and that is the first time when he just gave the suggestion concerning that that I could open my eyes, and we did that and my eyes were locked, I had an inkling in my mind that I could change it. When he did the second one, there was no doubt that I could not open my eyes. I didn't have the feeling that, maybe if I changed my thinking or if I did something else. I was absolutely 100% convinced that I was not going to make a change. It was not going to happen for me. So I found you know, there's part of me that almost wants to do it because of my own personal experience, that I'm absolutely 100% convinced I could not do it. So that was pretty exciting. And I'm glad I got the experience of doing both of them.
Cool. Here's the next thing. Tell them about, we talked about it a little bit when I was there, but I was in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
In your office, you were seeing a couple of clients, either one or two I sat with you. What was your experience with what I did with your clients? Okay? You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good.
I think there were two parts that I really enjoyed from watching Justin work. One is he asked a lot of questions. I had a tendency at the time to explain more than I needed to explain. Justin was more interested in exactly getting their mind state, how they felt about things, what their experience was. So there was a really strong inquisitive nature. And that strong inquisitive nature is something that I picked up on. The second part of what he did was, a lot of people come in for these problems and obviously they're paying for changing them. These problems are very big. These are huge problems. And there's a lot of tension associated with making the change, whether they can or they cannot make the change. Most people think they can't, because that's been the history of everything that they've done in the past. And Justin brought humor to it. He had a way of making everything have some type of humor element so that they could actually laugh about the situation. And I would say that those were the two areas. Now, also, Justin did the swaying. So, you know, my clients had experienced some hypnosis, but they were really impressed with the fact that their arms were moving, that their bodies were moving. They felt, you know, like it was really other. And then combining it with a greater inquisitive nature, and then adding humor to it, I think it really helped these people to release what they needed to release and go on and accomplish their goals.
Okay. Well, any more questions, any more thoughts at this moment, or should we wrap it up for right now and then we'll tape something soon?
Yeah.
Anyway, today is January 29th, a Sunday, 2012, and David flew in to work with me again. So he's spending the weekend here, and we're going over more and more stuff. But I just wanted you to know the date of this, that's all. And we're going to do some more conversations with me, System Supreme. My name is Justin Tranz, and this is my student and my friend, David Lee from Denver, Colorado.
Thank you. And always go to easystopusa.com.
There you go. You can turn it off. It's his camera. Not my camera, it's his camera.